Stop Motion by Robert Morgan is a movie about a girl, Ella, who works for her overbearing mother as a stop-motion animator. After her mother falls ill and is hospital-ridden, Ella feels compelled to finish her mother's masterpiece. One night, she meets a young girl who tells her she needs to rewrite the story and begins to tell her about the Ash Man, a creepy man stalking a frightened girl through the woods until he traps her inside a house. The problem with this movie is that it's very hard to review without spoilers because the ending is so important to my review. It's a bad ending. The message of the movie is very nihilistic and mean, especially when dealing with themes of abuse and depression. The movie is shot very well, with the stop-motion scenes playing out very clean, and when blended with the real world, create feelings of unease and anxiety. Everyone does a very good job acting, but the story fails to do any of the characters justice. The themes and messaging of the movie are ambiguous at best, forcing audiences to imprint their own meaning onto the actions of the characters without the film giving a clear indication that what we're watching is actually happening or not. As the film ends, we are left with more questions than answers. And if we're to venture a guess just based off the sequence of events we watched, it's hard to tell if what the filmmaker is saying is really what he's saying. There are so many why questions to be answered in this movie. Why does Ella want to finish her overbearing, mean-spirited mother's animation? Why is she rude and disrespectful to everyone she knows? Why does she want to get a job as a stop-motion animator, and then when presented with the opportunity, shoves it in the face of the woman recruiting her? Why does she just immediately trust and listen to a little girl who litters in her apartment and tells her animation sucks? The questions never end. I'm not one to demand Disney Marvel levels of audience hand-holding, but I would like at least some hint for what I'm supposed to be watching or looking for. Ella, as a character, isn't very endearing. The little girl is annoying. The mother is very obviously a villain. The only character I really found myself caring about is the boyfriend, but his story ends just as bad as the movie itself. In terms of horror, there isn't that much in this movie. The sequences of stop motion lose their creepy factor about halfway through the film, which are the only sequences in which any real horror is supposed to happen. The soundtrack or score of the film is forgettable. I honestly can't remember if there was even music in the movie at all. And overall, I just didn't feel much of anything after watching this except confusion and a sense of feeling sick at the ending's implications. If you're looking for a slow burn creepy horror that deals with disassociation and grief with a little more finesse, I'd recommend something watching like Jacob's Ladder. This movie overall just didn't land for me.